Let's be honest, there's no guidebook when it comes to relationships. So we end up having to stumble through life trying to figure things out for ourselves. What if there was a podcast that found the answers for you, that provided insight to build a successful relationship and ultimately find the companionship you've always hoped for? Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we answer the questions most people are afraid to ask when it comes to lessons in life and love. It's time to master this thing called life together with your hosts, John and Ashley.
And welcome back to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we are your guide to love, life, dating, and everything else in between, including how to overcome laryngitis and strep throat and everything else, so you can actually do a podcast.
Yeah, it was wild.
But as we mentioned on Tuesday, we're going to give you a glimpse into some of the fucked up shit that is going on out there in the world, and why we are selective over who we actually coach.
Yeah, I mean, shit is crazy out there, guys. Like, we found this guy, his name is Dan Silly. It starts with a C, Silly with a C. And he is a fucking certified nut job who would use the kind of information that we have to manipulate women. He's a registered sex offender, so I don't even think I need to explain to you guys.
I wouldn't even say it's manipulation. It's more like harassment, straight up harassment.
Oh, yeah, straight up. And not even like borderline, like, he's trying to be funny, you know, because there's people who do shit like that on YouTube who are like social experiment YouTubers who will walk up to someone, ask them a weird question. This man straight up follows women for like an hour. Like, he has an hour-long video of him like following women.
Yeah, just randomly approaching and, oh, you're beautiful. Okay. This isn't just women who are like actual women. No, we're talking 14, 15, 16 years old.
Children. They're fucking children is what they are. And the problem is, you'll even see some of these girls get so uncomfortable that they start walking really fast. Like, this man has no awareness whatsoever. Because anybody with half a fucking brain would see that if someone was running away from me, I should probably stop talking to him.
Exactly. This guy, goes out, and I am not kidding. It's hard for me to watch these videos that this guy has. Now, if you want to look him up, you can. I wouldn't recommend it because you're probably going to have to buy yourself a new computer after you put your fist through it. Some of his videos, they're like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes long. I can literally get through maybe about a minute and a half, and I have to stop.
Yeah.
Because this guy is that sick in the head.
Absolutely repulsive.
Let me give you a little example of just how sick in the head he is. Control my bearings here, because I don't want to just like start throwing out a whole bunch of F-bombs.
Right.
Okay, so this guy believes, and he has this thing mathematically figured out. He believes that a woman should be a grandmother by age 30.
Oh my God.
That means that...
Ew.
Yeah. So that means that he would meet a girl who is 13 years old, meet her parents, get their consent to marry her.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Fucking walk through my door, dude. I'm blasted, bro. I swear to God, that guy's a fucking creep. Like, what the fuck?
Then he would have her get pregnant by the age 15. Now, by the time her child becomes 15 years old, she would have a child. That way, his first wife is now a grandmother by age 30.
Mind you, this guy's in his fucking 30s.
Yeah. And I guess she would be a great-grandmother by the time she's, 45?
Yeah, right? She'll see like 6 generations.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? And this guy is totally serious about this. This video that he had, I couldn't make it all the way through. I kept skipping ahead. But it was like an hour and a half ramble of how this whole thing friggin' works. And he's walking someplace in downtown Los Angeles.
Just talking casually, like this is normal things to talk about in public. Number one, you are anyway listening to this and saying, well, this guy makes some sense. Do me a favor, turn this fucking shit off and go to therapy because you need fucking help. And I'm just going to be completely honest. If you hear this and you say, well, that makes sense, you need therapy because there is no excuse for a grown man to be harassing children. There's no excuse for a grown man to be talking to children about sex or talking about impregnating children. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's not even weird. I mean, it's like mental instability. Oh my gosh.
Right.
And this guy, he's actually talking about trying to build his own little city to live the best life possible. And somehow trying to, marriage and sexual reproduction is going to be fashionable to virgin underage girls. I am not kidding. That's a direct quote from one of his videos.
Ew, dude, and you know what the problem is with people like this, and I think we talked about it a little on Tuesday too, is like you said, people follow this fucking guy.
Yeah, he actually has a following. People actually agree with this. One of his names that he actually went by was the Los Angeles pedophile.
Yeah, and then the downtown stalker or some shit like that too.
Yeah, downtown stalker.
Weird ass. Yeah.
Yeah, here's another title of one of his videos. How to increase underage girls' desire to marry and reproduce.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not kidding. That is what he calls one of his videos. What the fuck?
Now, this man is, like we said, he's a registered sex offender. And so you don't have to worry in that line. You can find his name, you can see all this stuff. Everything we're saying is public information. But if you live in Los Angeles, I'm sure you've heard of this man. I'm sure you've heard of Dan. He's not anything shy of an infamous celebrity. And people will walk up to him and be like, you're a fuck. If he's talking to women, I saw one video, he was talking to a woman. And someone was like, ma'am, this guy's a freaking creep who's known to harass women. And he's like, well, that's just your opinion. And the guy was like, no, that's the opinion of everybody in downtown LA. You're a fucking creep. And I'm just trying to warn you, ma'am. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, he actually has a court order where he is not allowed to video any women. Not just underage, any women. So for him to have a phone with a camera in it, for him is actually against the law.
Right.
He could be arrested for it. However, he is still posting videos. I have his page up now. His last one was, thank God, it's only 1 minute and 44 seconds. I haven't watched it. I don't want to watch it.
His content gives you fucking creeps.
Yeah. I'm tired of looking up his notes. He needs to find a better way of videoing too.
He needs to take his camera and just break it. Quite frankly, that's what he needs to do. He needs to take every piece of recording equipment he has. He just needs to throw it in the trash and let the shit go. Because at this point, people have, not only people, the court of public opinion, everybody has agreed, man, you're fucking nuts. And he sticks by his shit.
In my opinion, here's the court order. You are breaking the court order. That is breaking the law. You break the law, there's a penalty to pay. We all know you go over the speed limit, you're going to get a fine.
Right.
You keep going over the speed limit too many times, they just take your license. And if you still continue to drive, well, then you're going to go to jail. You're going to have to spend some time behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make the laws. People voted on the laws, or they voted for somebody to make the laws. So there you go.
And I genuinely don't think jail would be a bad place for him. He needs discipline. He needs structure. He needs people who are tougher than him because he's a big guy. You know what I mean?
He's like just so 6 foot something.
Yeah, he's like 6'4". There's a video of him literally beating a homeless man for no reason other than the fact that he said he felt attacked, which he wasn't because, again, he records every fucking thing. But this man is literally he's just terrorizing.
Some of what he has actually done is he went out and he harassed, I believe she was 16 years old. He harassed her so much that he got arrested. Again, this is after he was already convicted as being a pedophile. He got arrested again. And I don't know, overpopulation or whatever it was, he got released early. So he's back on the streets.
Just being a creep.
Yeah.
No intentions of changing, no self-awareness at all. Just thinking, hey, I am entitled to go harass young women for no fucking reason. And if they don't respond positively, it's them. It's not me. That's the problem with people like this. They are fucking scary.
Here's one of the things that he actually posted on Twitter. Now, this is in response to another guy's question about something about one of his videos and why didn't he ask this girl for her number? So he's kind of confused. Well, this is where it came out that he doesn't have a phone. So he had her subscribe and message him on Facebook. He admits. So he knows there's something wrong with this because he admits. I felt guilty because the girl said she was not 18. But it shouldn't matter. Anyone has the right to talk to anyone and get to know them.
You don't.
You just cannot have sexual intercourse with somebody who is under 18. But here's where he starts convoluting stuff. He asked the question, what exactly is sexual intercourse? I think that is pretty well defined in all the medical texts.
If you know you shouldn't be doing it, it's sexual intercourse. Let's just say it like that.
I know for our state, or at least the state that I live in, they actually do get into what constitutes sexual intercourse and what does not. I mean, it gets very specific.
It's like that here too.
Every state is a little bit different, but most of the time it's very specific. It continues. We need to be clear on what the law is. And there is a law that you cannot annoy a minor. He knows what this is because he says it's California Penal Code 647.6. How does he know that? Because he was convicted on it.
Right, I was going to say, because that's what you went to jail for, you motherfucker. Like, don't sit here and act like you're some super educated person. No, you're a fucking pedophile who got caught, and so you know the law.
So he continues, says, I feel guilty talked to in court underage girls. Okay, if you feel guilty about it, that means you know there's something wrong.
Right, you know you should, exactly.
And then he continues on. Apparently, you can marry a minor of any age and have sex with her if you get her parents' consent. But if I were tried for annoying a minor, I would argue that my motivation to accost them is not abnormal. I am attracted to girls who may be 14 years old, but like
I'm attracted to 14-year-olds? Why?
Yeah.
How? For what?
This would be totally normal because by definition of puberty is the age at which a person is capable of human reproduction, and the biological purpose of sex is to reproduce. And in any case, I'm only trying to create love between myself and the girl. What the fuck?
You mean rape? You're trying to create rape. That is what that is. Children are not capable of consenting. Do you want to know why? Because kids are fucking dumb. That's why. Kids are not smart enough. Kids do not
protect them.
Exactly. Kids are dumb. They don't have the wherewithal. They aren't emotionally developed enough. To be attracted to someone who is emotionally incapable of understanding means you're a fucking psychopath. I don't care what anyone says. And like I said, if you agree with anything this man's saying, turn this show off right the fuck now because we don't want you listening. It's a definitive statement. If you think what he's saying is correct and you stand by that shit, no.
You're not welcome here, period.
Absolutely not.
I'm not even playing around with it. I'm not joking about it.
Like, we're not going to sugarcoat that. Yeah. You call it what you want to, but I do not support anybody in this world who thinks that it is okay to touch a child sexually. If you feel salty about that, then, again, turn this off and go get some fucking therapy because you're sick.
I don't put up with it. And like I mentioned on Tuesday's show, I have no qualms about firing a client.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I have my morals. I want to stand by them. And if you don't agree with my morals, then I'm not the coach for you. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, and these aren't like really difficult morals to accept, by the way. It's not like we're saying if you're a woman who has pockets, you can't listen to the show. This is basic humanity.
Yeah.
If you can't abide by that.
Really, it goes back to intent. If your intent is to go out there and manipulate somebody and to trick them, I'm not for that, period.
Yeah.
And if your intent is to go out and get underage minors, we're not for you. Go someplace else. There's plenty of places online you can go watch their videos for free and go implement their bullshit.
Yeah.
There's been more than one company that teaches pickup that has been taken to court because of that. And they have been sued, and I believe actually a couple of them, because their intent was to teach how to manipulate, the owners of those companies actually wound up in jail.
It's so fucking weird to me. Like, it is so weird to me that this man exists, number one. But number two, it's scary to think about being a parent and, having a teenager walking down a downtown LA because, kids like to go out.
Yeah,
kids
they like going to play in the park, and that's where he goes. One of his dreams is to build a community, a small town, a small city. I've listened to the description of this
Rape
place.
Rape City? Is that what he wants to build? Because that's what he should call it, Rape City.
Well, I'm looking at, actually it's in Archive Today, or archive.today. where it's like history of the net.
Yeah.
And he
Like the
has,
Wayback Machine.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But he has this courses that he was going to build. Thank God it never actually took place. But he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 30-day programs. The top 6 have nothing to do with anything. It's the last one that is actually kind of interesting. It's called Accost. Interesting name for a program. Accost.
Accost. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Can you imagine if we named our course Accost?
Snatch and grab. That's you might as well just name some shit like guilty, Your Honor. Like that is just weird.
Yeah, this is the 30-day program for learning and implementing the system for and habit of attracting the best woman possible every single day and building a polygynous, maximally reproductive family.
Oh my God.
Now
that
line
just
that
sounds
up.
like a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, now line that up with his idea that a woman should be a grandmother by age 30.
Yeah, this guy's rocket scientist.
Now I'm just curious as to what his thought process is. I've seen some wild friggin' promises and guarantees made, but I've never seen one where they said attract the best possible woman, man, whatever, every single day.
Every day you're gonna find someone new. You're gonna attract someone new. That sounds exhausting.
It does sound exhausting. I've mentioned it on the show before. I normally going out with 5 women at the same time is mentally exhausting. I usually cut it off about 3.
Right.
Even in the past couple of months, I've actually cut that down to 1 because keeping up with 2 or 3 of them, I mean, it's one, I'm getting tired of casually dating.
Right.
I'm looking for something more permanent now. But just juggling 2 plus the podcast plus everything else going on in my life, I don't have time. And
yeah, it's
mentally draining. I'm hoping I get 3 hours of sleep a night. I couldn't see every single... Fuck that.
Right? Like, that's my exact thought. Fuck that. Like, why would I want to do that? What would make me want to meet someone new every fucking day? Like, some days I just don't even want to get out of bed. So I can't imagine the love of my life every day knocking on my door and it's a different person. Like, good God.
But we haven't finished with this knucklehead yet.
Nope.
Because we still got more. Because he was asked a question, and this is, I'm not sure where this came from. I don't know if it's Twitter or not. I'm actually going into some archive for it. But he's talking about previous relationship and exes. Okay, so Dan's response to this is, it's very simple. Do not date any female who is not a virgin.
Buddy. No wonder he dates minors, bro. Like, what the fuck?
It gets better because he actually justifies it. Because he says, how does that work? Question mark. You have to date an underage girl. You should meet the parents of the young daughters ages 12 to 13.
Can you fucking imagine? Can you, just picture this in your head. You have a young daughter, 12, 13. Some grown-ass man knocks on your door with flowers and what I imagine to be a Kids Bop CD. Like, hi, I'm interested in your fucking daughter. Like,
I'm here to pick up Tiffany.
Right? Like, what the fuck? What are you, a fucking bus driver? Like, no.
Now, he justifies this. He says, if you are a great person, which you have demonstrated consistently over time, and so are the parents, they should strongly desire to introduce you to her and have you two get married as reproducing grandchildren. What the fuck? So
I wish the fuck somebody would.
Okay, bro. So I bumped into this guy at, I don't know, let's just say I took my daughter to Baskin-Robbins.
Gymnastics? Like, what the fuck?
I used to be a gymnastics teacher. If we had single men sitting in the viewing area,
get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. Yep, exactly. There's no fucking reason you should
no
be
reason
here.
You should be here. But say I bumped into him, and I guess he consistently demonstrated that he was a great person. Why the fuck are you talking to my girl?
Hello? Like, what? How do you approach someone's parents? 13-year-old, you're a grown-ass man.
God, I get nervous meeting a 30-year-old woman's parents.
Right? Like,
I hope I don't screw this up.
Audacity. Right. Oh my God. And that's, that's that manipulation shit. And he's trying to manipulate this guy into thinking it's okay to date underage women. And it's like, what are you, crazy? Why are you asking a man who has a course or who is going to have a course called Accost about approaching women?
And he says, but society has been programmed to believe that all underage girls are illegal to have sex with. No, we kind of passed that law in, I don't know, the mid-1900s, because up until the late 1800s, it was not uncommon for 13 and 14-year-old girls to get married. But then again, the life expectancy was 40. As soon as you were like 13, go out to the pasture, claim yourself a piece of land, go build yourself a cabin.
That's it.
But if you're married, all that's not true. All you have to do is go, now, you studied this shit. All you have to do is go to California, Massachusetts, and a few other states where it's legal to get married to an underage girl. Once the marriage is official, it's valid in any state. Bullshit.
Honestly, I cannot picture this person saying this shit in real life to people and someone not being like, I need to hit you. Because it's infuriating.
But he's saying that it's legal in every state. No, it's not.
No, the fuck it's not.
Because while most states will recognize a marriage from another state, it still has to be valid in their state. So, yeah, go to California, marry a 14-year-old girl. I'm not sure what the statute is there. I'm making this shit up.
All right.
Let's say it's 14. You come to, I don't know, Texas, where legal age of consent or of marriage is, say, 17. She's still underage in that state. Valid marriage or not, you're still going to jail.
You're going to jail. You better hope that you're going to have a prison wife, too. You better, well, at least they'll be of age, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of like divorces. I've seen people who've gotten divorced in, let's say, Arizona. They moved to Wisconsin. Wisconsin did not recognize the divorce.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But, yeah, Wisconsin at the time didn't recognize the divorce. And this guy was trying to get married, and he was going to go to jail for polygamy.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of stuff like that happening.
So, yeah, most states will recognize marriages across borders, but it still has to be a valid marriage that complies with the laws of that state.
Yeah,
okay.
So there's a mistake number one in Dumbass Dan's plan to marry a child.
He keeps on going, but, I mean, it's really, you can see how convoluted this shit gets.
And people listen.
Yes, people do listen to this. Now, before we run out of time, I want to use this last few couple minutes to talk about this other jackass that I got into a debate with. Because this guy...
By jackass, he means MGTOW. Because I would like to think they're synonymous with each other, and I stand on that.
Well, this guy is like, he's like a different breed of MGTOW. I think they morphed into like another group.
Fucking crazy people, dude.
So this guy goes out on a very popular media site, and he posts the trick to getting nude pics. This is a step-by-step guide to manipulating women into getting nude pictures.
You know what the interesting thing about that is? If the woman likes you, you probably just have to ask.
Actually, you really don't even have to ask.
You usually don't even need to ask.
I've received nude pictures, and I'm just like, why'd you send this to me? Oh, I thought you'd like it.
I do, thank you.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Thanks.
That's it.
To tell you the truth, I prefer the real thing, but that's just me.
You know.
But anyways, okay, so this guy, the first thing he comes out with is establish rapport.
So talk to her. Okay. Brilliant. He's genius.
There's a thing. Just talk to her. And then he says, tell a joke. Now, he goes into this a little bit. You have to admit that you are this type of person in order to get the type of photo you want. So if you're a boob guy, make a joke about it. If you're a butt guy, make a joke about it. Whatever. It's fucking stupid. And then ask her about fashion. Like every single woman out there is some kind of fashion expert.
Right. Like every woman cares about clothes.
Yeah. I actually was talking to a woman the other day, and I mentioned to her that the colored dress that she was wearing actually works very well with her complexion. And she's like, thanks. I'm actually clueless about colors. I said, well, that's your natural color that you're wearing.
Got it now, dummy? No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But just because she's born with a vagina, she knows everything about fashion.
Has to. She can't be a woman if she doesn't know about fashion, John.
I guess not.
You can't.
That's why we have an entire book in our course on fashion for both men and women.
Right.
Okay. Next thing he says is compliment her. Typically when she sends pics, she will add one with more or less cleavage or something sexy. It's a validation check. How does he put it? Validation is like crack cocaine for women.
Oh, okay. Yes, validation from some stinky ass fucking MGTOW is exactly what I need to get my day going. Fuck,
Yeah.
That's why my days haven't been going so well, because every morning a guy does not tell me I look great. There we go.
I'll be sure to put a whole bunch of them in there to schedule them.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're learning from this man.
Yeah. And then he puts in there no dick pics. She's already sending you nudes. You don't have to send any back. So, I mean, just send a shirtless picture of yourself.
No
Okay.
problem.
Yeah,
No.
right.
I probably don't want to see a fucking shirtless picture of this guy. Because I
No.
can already picture what the fuck he looks like.
But he puts in there down at the bottom, this only works if she doesn't think you're creepy.
Well, you're out, buddy.
I mean, I just went the fuck off on this guy.
It is completely unacceptable to know that there are grown men that think like that.
This is nothing new. This was actually published a while back. He's acting like this is something that he created. That's bullshit. I knew about this back when there were flip phones.
Yeah, when nudes first came out.
Yeah, we actually taught this shit in a class. So where he dug this up, I don't know. But those were the exact steps that we followed. That's how fucking manipulative I was.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad to know that this man exists. It's sad to know that there's some teenage boy clinging on to this. And the thing is this, can I explain to you how creepy everything he did step by step was? If he doesn't buy that, like, that's creepy. So it's like it only works if she doesn't think you're creepy. Here's the thing, you're fucking creepy.
Yeah. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to sit there and make jokes about boobs in hopes that I get a boob pic. What the fuck?
Like, what are you, fucking 8, dude? Like, what?
There's a thing out there, it's called Pornhub. Go look at all the boobs you want.
Hello? Like, yes, exactly. Like, don't even, this is what I'm talking about. And just like for fucking Dan, there's hookers. Like, call a fucking hooker. Stop preying on innocent women. Just call someone who it's their job to have sex with you and have sex with them and leave everybody else the fuck alone.
I'm not sure if the federal government and Social Security is going to actually appreciate him
Pay for
spending
hookers, yeah.
$30
That's a
of
good
the
point.
taxpayers' money. Let's see.
I would rather, no, I would. I'd rather him buy a hooker than fucking rape a child. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, that is true.
at this point, I would contribute to his hooking foundation or whatever.
But this guy that I was talking about, he keeps on going. Okay,
Oh,
2
great.
reasons why women travel solo that they will never tell their dating partners. Okay. Now, it doesn't say some women. It doesn't say just traveling. It says women. So it's all women.
Of course.
So they travel abroad by themselves, or they travel to another city by themselves. They travel anywhere by themselves. It's anonymity with zero accountability.
Maybe
Okay.
people just like to fucking travel.
Well, that's what I would think.
you know?
But he
Goddamn.
says beautiful women have pretty much zero accountability because they live their life in privilege.
Okay, that is true. Hot women do have a little bit of an easier time, like, posting because they're pretty. That's true. I will say that. But that doesn't mean anything.
Some beautiful women, they do have a little bit easier, but also some of them, I mean,
No,
I
no,
want
I don't. I'm just saying hot women have it a little easier, but it's not like a huge margin. It's just not false.
yeah, there's some of them that they're extremely shy and they're not
Right.
comfortable with their beauty because they keep hearing it all the damn time.
Yeah, and it gets annoying. Absolutely.
But he says they can go on dates and get free drinks and free food just by showing some cleavage and putting on some makeup. I know women who are not extremely beautiful. They're just women. And they will literally go to clubs and not bring any money because they know some guy is going to randomly give them drinks.
And you know what? That's a guy's fault for offering.
Yes, it is.
If
Yeah,
you
it's
offer me a
needy.
free drink, I'm going to fucking take it, whether I'm interested in you or not.
Yeah.
Would you like to pay for my alcohol? Absolutely, I would. I'll even entertain a conversation for 10 minutes. That doesn't mean I owe you anything.
I mean, I've seen it where guys are so desperate and needy that I've seen them come in with $300 and leave with a tab.
Yep.
Then he says, after he goes through all this, in the end, she has a trail of broken hearts in her hometown. Men she starts taking advantage of who hold her accountable for what she's done. What?
She hasn't done anything.
She hasn't done anything. She can have sex and be promiscuous with random guys, get as much dick as she wants, and not have to deal with the man's feelings, or whatever. I mean, this guy is fucking stupid.
Isn't that exactly, fair? Because he's saying that before she just broke a bunch of hearts, but now she's going around fucking people, not worried about, anonymity and all that shit. So what she's doing is correct.
Well, what do guys do? The same fucking thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In high school. In the
high
same high school.
and college.
Yeah.
What? There was just that huge case up in Tennessee where, what was it? Either the football team or lacrosse team or whatever fucking team up there at University of Tennessee, where they got this girl drunk and raped her on video.
Jesus. Oh my God. That is fucking depraved.
Yeah. She was passed out drunk and they just went and had sex with her and didn't give a fucking flip about it.
On video.
Yeah, on video.
I would fuck my son up. I don't understand how these kids' parents are so unresponsive. What is wrong with you as a parent when you hear that your son has raped a woman and your first thought is, well, what was she doing?
Yeah, it was her fault for getting drunk.
Yeah. It's not your son's fault for having absolutely no self-fucking control. It's her fault.
But he goes on and, he starts dropping dozens of beta males simping for. Okay, first of all, there is no such thing as alpha and beta. That the guy who actually coined that term in 1968 has sat there and repeatedly said his research was wrong.
It doesn't make sense.
The scientist said his research was wrong, but people have clinged on to this alpha beta bullshit. I'm sorry. Bill Gates was not Bill Gates. If you saw him on the streets, would he be a alpha or a beta?
Right.
You put him in a boardroom, he's alpha male all the way. But you put him into a bar scene, he's beta all the way. Why? Because it all has to deal with demographics.
Yep.
So don't give me that alpha beta bullshit.
I hate that shit.
As far as simping, a simp is nothing more than another term for beta.
Right.
A guy who's overly needy, but depends on where you put him.
Right. I think it's weird that these people exist. And I think it's horrifying. It really does. It scares me to think that there are kids right now probably being preyed upon by people like this. And not just kids, because this guy didn't mention minors, obviously. But he's talking about women as if they're objects. And then...
That is all he talks about. And there's post after post after post, just like this, where it's all women. It's not just some, it's all women. So if a guy sits there and he sees a woman and she says, yeah, I go on a trip here, I go on a trip there. Oh, she must be one of these women.
She's a whore.
Yeah, she's a whore. I'm not even going to try. He doesn't even know a thing about her, but yet he's going to lump her into a category.
Right, because she travels. Not because of anything else, but because she, a woman in 2021, where women have the ability to do things without a man, because she is a woman who is able to and capable of traveling alone, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah. Now, he says, and this point number 2, because there's 2 parts to this. So the second part is women want to experience a fantasy. Now it continues. A lot of girls say they want a relationship, but they really don't. What?
How can a man speak for women? I've always been so fucking confused about this. I'll listen to guys talk about what women want. Women say this, but they actually mean this. And I'm like, you're fucking wrong. Because you don't know. I don't speak for men. I can't speak for men.
I can't speak for women. I mean, I understand a little bit, only because I have talked to a lot of women. But I don't sit there and go, every single woman. There's always a caveat. There's always their outliers. Yeah. I've worked on modeling sets with some of the hottest women in the world. Not a single one of them was exactly the same.
Of course not, because people are individuals.
Yeah. This woman was like this. This woman was like that. But you sit there and go, oh, all models are taken. All models want this kind of guy. All models want this kind of bullshit. I know a bunch of them, they were single and they couldn't get a guy to save their fucking life because every guy that they talked, they were either intimidated or they thought they were taken or they were whores and tramps. Yeah, just lumped into a category.
You can't just be a woman who enjoys traveling. There has to be something wrong with that. It's so alarming to me that these people think that they deserve a platform because everything they're saying is not just horseshit, it's damaging. It's damaging to teenagers who have no idea what the fuck to do when it comes to girls. It's damaging to women to have to read that shit about themselves. And God forbid they get their ass in a relationship. Lord knows how quickly the abuse is going to start. So it's not healthy. If you listen to these people, if you hear MGTOWs and you say, I like that, I think this is a good idea, it's not. And I'm telling you, as a woman, no fucking woman travels alone just because of sex. Now, don't get me wrong. If it happens...
Some of them do. But I also know guys who will travel over to the former Soviet socialist blocs just to meet a woman and have sex.
Yeah.
And some of them actually go over there to actually find a wife because apparently every woman in the United States is some kind of whore.
Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with traveling, having casual sex. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. Be liberated. Do your thing. But to assume that the only reason women travel alone is to have sex is just ludicrous. It's just a ludicrous accusation.
But he doesn't stop there. He says women in the dating market live in a fantasy world, and a relationship is real work.
This is coming from the guy with delusional statements.
I know plenty of women, they desire a real relationship, but they can't find a guy who actually knows how to build one.
Right.
He's like, oh, this is taking too long. 2.5 months later, boom, he's gone.
Yep.
Or she doesn't do this and she doesn't do that. So it's a victim mentality.
Pretty much.
I went off on this guy again. I was actually asking him, on what facts are you basing this off of, other than your own fucking observation?
Social ineptitude.
Yeah. No reply.
Of course not. Because there's no real reason for him to think like this. I'm telling you, I am convinced that being a MGTOW is a personality disorder. And they need to write about it in the DSM. Because for anyone to constantly think that it is just women don't like them, it's not their jarring personality or their obnoxious takes on life. It's got to be women. It can't be them. That is mental illness, man.
It's not that he screwed up. It's all the thousands of women who travel abroad by themselves or travel, period, by themselves. All of them, every last single one of them is screwed up. What are the odds? I mean, this is Guinness Book of World Records sitting here. We got over, 150 million women. Let's just take the United States and divide the population in half. 150 million women are all fucked up.
Every single one.
Not
Every
him.
single one's fucked up.
Yeah.
Nope. He's perfect, John. That's why he's giving advice. He's giving shitty advice to young teenagers who are going to take this shitty advice and become socially inept weirdos also.
Oh, yeah, the comments that followed, I mean, it was just, here's one. Good points. Yeah, women who travel are more than likely up to no good. That's from one guy. Let's see. Thanks. Closet one-night stand bisexual girls hiding from their family. Then there's another one. Have to agree with you. I've seen it quite often.
You've seen women have casual sex? Probably the women you're having casual. Who do men think most women who are attracted to men are having sex with? Men are always talking about women's sexuality as if they aren't the ones trying to have sex with women.
Yeah. When I lived in Southern California, all the guys crossing the border into Tijuana weren't going down there just to have drinks.
Just for tequila, right? Just to chase a fucking tequila war.
They set out with specific intentions of going out, finding some girl and hooking up with her that night.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That is the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's fine for guys to do it, but damn, I mean, if a girl does it, holy shit, I mean, the world's coming to an end.
Listen, she's traveling by herself. You got to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who comes up with this shit?
A bunch of narcissistic, needy little whiny bastards that sit there and
they're
just
so dumb.
It has nothing to do with their own shortcomings.
Or the fact that they can't approach women. I don't care what any of them say. They talk all this shit online. But as soon as a woman probably stops and says hi to them, they probably
freak
run.
The fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. They can't even fucking hold a conversation with a woman, but they're so goddamn sure they know everything about them. Like, you don't have the self-esteem
I had a guy who listened to our podcast at work, and it was only because of some of the stuff that I said in the podcast itself, in the episode, he actually figured out that it was me. He didn't even know I had a podcast until he heard that episode. Mm-hmm. And he just put 2 and 2 together, and he comes up and he's like, dude, now I get it. He knows me, but he didn't know I had a podcast. And he's sitting there watching me interact with all of these women all night long. 8 hours straight, just interacting with women, just this girl, that girl, that girl, that. And he couldn't figure out how I did it. I'm not needy.
It's not even that. It's just women are humans. You treat humans. People like humans.
And they respond.
Right.
I can sit there, they come up to my podium, and I crack this joke about, when was the last time you were in Montana? Excuse me? Well, I'm just wondering why I have a warrant for your arrest in Montana. So I've never been to Montana. And so I'm fucking with you. Here's your ID.
Yeah, exactly. Relax, kid.
Then she turns around and goes, now, if you said New Mexico, I said, okay, now I'm wondering what you've been up to.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, she'll sit there for the next 5 minutes joking around with me. And then they exit the casino and they come back on the casino floor. And every time they pass by, it's another little 20-second conversation that we have. I had one today. She's coming in and out. I'm like, I want to start charging you 50 cents every time you come and go. And she's like, yes, but I'm able to keep you awake. I said, there is a positive side of it.
See? All you have to do is not be a fucking weirdo.
I have other women that I joke around with. I have one that she passes by every morning at the same time. She works in a different department. But every time she passes by, she's sitting there waving hi. She'll come over, she'll chat for a couple seconds, then she'll leave. And I got these guys coming up to me and said, dude, how do you know her? I asked her what her first name was.
Just said hi every so often. Yeah. Like, just being polite goes a long way. And that's the problem with MGTOWs. They think that they can force a relationship. They think that if they are a certain way, here's the thing. If the ideology that you're subscribing to isn't working, it's because it's bullshit.
Exactly. This whole, I have to be alpha. Dude, if you walk into a place and you are asserting and demanding respect, you're not going to get it.
There's no reason.
The way that I can actually walk into a room and gain the attention of a group of women within like minutes is because I can go from one group to another group to another group, and I'm accepted by every single group. I can talk on a range of different topics. Everything from classical music to hip-hop. I can tell you about this star and this music and that music, why I like it, why I don't like it. I can talk about movies. I can talk about science. I can talk about history, economics, you name it. A vast range of topics. And with that, I can bounce from one group to another group, be accepted by them. And when I'm accepted by them, my social status goes up. And then people start noticing it, and they want to know, who's that guy?
Exactly.
There you go.
And you have to remember, keep this in mind too, when you meet some girl and you're talking to her, you're talking her up, and of course, most people, they'll do a check on you. They'll Google your name at least once. And what pops up is all this shit. Not a good look, homie.
That, or they're going to go and they're going to check with other people. How do you know him? What do you think about him? I do my homework. I don't just randomly ask out just any girl. Well, I take that back. Yes, I do. Okay, but if I actually meet her more than once because I'm working with her, I'll check around. Hey, you know her a little bit better than I do. What can you tell me about her? They're doing the same thing to me. They're Googling me. They're checking my Facebook page. There's not a whole hell of a lot there. But they're checking everything. They're going to do their homework. And they're going to ask their friends, what do you think about it? If you don't get in with the friends, it's not going to work.
Nope.
Well, it can,
this
but
day and age,
it's going to be a
with
fight.
Social media, they're going to look your name up. They're going to try and figure out who you are. And I can promise you there's nothing more unattractive than a bunch of MGTOW-ass shit popping up because you don't know how to speak to women.
Yeah. Or reverse that. You don't know how to speak to men.
Yeah, either way.
A lot of this stuff, it actually crosses both lines. There's no real big secret to it. There's a little few tweaks for the women's side, a little few tweaks for the men's side.
Not that big secret.
The difference between the two is not that big of a gap.
Right.
You just have to know how to tweak it to fit women's side, men's side, and then tweak it again to fit you. But this shit...
I guess the lesson of the day, people. Do not be a MGTOW. Whether you're a man or woman.
Don't be a MGTOW. Definitely don't. If you subscribe to going out with minors, go find some fucking help.
Right. Get some fucking therapy. Do anything but that. Like, tell somebody, do something. I don't know. But don't. Seriously. Do not touch children. Leave children the fuck alone.
Yes.
Women are allowed to travel by themselves. without being hoarse.
Yeah, stop lumping every group of people into a specific category and writing them off before you even actually know them.
Yeah, that would help.
I seem to remember reading about that in history someplace, where an entire class of people, more than once over history, were lumped into a single category and they just want to wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yep. Sounds familiar to me too.
Yeah. And before we wrap everything up, if you go to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page, and stuff like that, you're going to start seeing some changes starting to happen. It's because we're getting ready to release the first version of our new website. Hopefully, it will be done by the end of the month. I'm hoping sooner, but this is a shit ton of work.
Yeah, it's been a wild month, guys.
A couple of weeks off that we were down because we couldn't talk. Utilized our time wisely and actually got some other work done.
Could not speak. If we would have recorded, you guys would have been like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What is wrong with you two?
Oh, if you notice a sound quality difference, it's because we are releasing this in HD now. That only is if you're a premium subscriber to either Amazon or Spotify, some of the others, or Deezer, and you're actually paying for the service, you can actually get this in HD quality, the highest rating that they actually have.
And let us know how we sound in HD. Be like, hey guys, just listen to you in HD. You sound fantastic. Always like, rate, share, subscribe. Tell everybody you know about the show. Make sure that everyone in your life is listening to this life-changing opportunity that we call a podcast. As always, guys, just keep it real, stay away from kids, and don't be weird.
Yeah. So if you want to look him up, his name is Dan Seeley, Cilley. You'll be sorry you did.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, we will talk to you on the next one.
That's all for this episode of the Girls Ask Guys show, where all of us learn to master this thing called life together. For more answers to your questions on life and love, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single episode. And head to girlsaskguyshow.com to submit your questions for a future episode or apply to be a guest on the show. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time, right here on the Girls Ask Guys show.